difficulty to recruit new talents and to keep.
We should not plan an average salary in Ukraine, but we should now watch average between Ukraine and EU. Quotas already finished for the product in EU. What is the implication of martial law to French companies?
No panic at all.
Hello, I present today a new episode of our program Eurointegrators, and our guest today, Vincent Pregot, advisor of economy of French Embassy. Hi, Vincent.
Hello.
And director of French-Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce, Marie Bruan. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Tatiana.
In 2015, you announced that you are concentrating on reforms in Ukraine. What are the achievements and shortcomings from these reforms?
Yes, that's fully right. Actually, after the events of 2014, the focus of Ukraine itself and of the whole international community, including France, was to support this great aim for reforms. And at that time, it was still unclear whether Ukraine could address at the same time all the challenges in all the economic sectors in order to restabilize the economy and to grow again. And I think after a few years, only 3 or 4 years of reforms, which is a process that has started, that has not ended, of course. We are in the middle. But I think we can say that the results are very impressive. Some people tend to say that Ukraine has achieved more reforms in 4 years than since independence. I tend to agree with this assumption. And we can witness actual results in many sectors, such as the banking and financial sector, which has been stabilized, with the numbers of banks reduced, with a central bank that is now working very well and ensuring its supervision of a sector. We can witness results in the energy sector, which was a sector suffering from a lot of corruption. And I must say that the sector is starting to work much better now. We can witness that in plenty of other domains. Of course, one could say it's not satisfactory enough, it's too slow, and we could take this point, of course.
Next question to Marie. The French Chamber of Commerce represents French enterprises in Ukraine. In which directions they are working, and what is your mission?
Well, the French Chamber of Commerce in Ukraine is a business association which represents French enterprises established in Ukraine and working with the Ukrainian market. Next year, we'll celebrate our 25th anniversary of presence in the Ukrainian market. And I could say that nevertheless, the crisis in 2008, nevertheless, the major crisis our enterprise faced after the revolution of dignity in 2014, 15, and 16, the French business community has never stopped growing. So currently, we are 125 members, French enterprises mainly. Our missions are the classical missions of a Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That means first to defend interests of French enterprises in Ukraine and sustain with the embassy economic relations between Ukraine and France. Second is to help French business who want to set up, to develop, to know business market in Ukraine. And the last one is more basic. It's to animate French business community in Ukraine by organizing roundtables, conferences, monitoring business news, and organizing meetings with local authorities.
At the recent Ukrainian-French Mixed Economical Commission was emphasized that the last year you had a 18% increase of an export to Ukraine. And you are the fourth biggest investor into Ukraine. What is the balance of trade between our countries?
Ukraine is benefiting a lot from the trade agreement signed with the EU, which shows that in about 2 or 3 years, Ukraine has been able to grow each year its trade with the EU by about 20%. French companies very often tend to develop an activity on the territory and to localize some activity. And therefore, we are at the same time an important trade partner of Ukraine, but as well a very important economic partner within Ukraine on the territory. Maybe you say the fourth, maybe the fifth investor. It depends how you exactly account. But yes, of course, a major Western investor. As Marie mentioned, we have a very diversified profile of companies in many sectors, and we are, according to the official statistics, the latest one, the first international employer in Ukraine. The reason is that France is very present in the banking, insurance, and retail sector, which hire a lot of people and which have facilities, agencies, shops all over the countries.
One more guest will join our interview now. It's a former acting Minister of Finance of Ukraine, Igor Umansky. Igor, привіт.
Hello,
Що
Igor.
ти міг додати
What
до
could you
цього
add to
питання?
this issue? France has always been one of our largest trade partners in Ukraine if we look at our colleagues from the European Union. The French investment sector is quite significant, especially in the period of capitalization requirements of banks, where French banks participate in Ukraine. Meanwhile, in my opinion, the most important issue is still the development of the real sector of the economy and the likelihood of using valuable opportunities in this exact sense. It's no secret that during the crisis of 2007 to 2008, both the European Central Bank and individual countries employed special measures in Europe to support and bolster their own economies. Particularly in France, it was the automotive industry. Meanwhile, for now, the state of relations and requirements that we currently have from our European colleagues on development in Ukraine are more concerned with opening markets than with supporting the development of business in Ukraine, providing support and access to finance. Perhaps it is on this that we will focus attention in the near future. Especially in light of the fact that Ukraine's economy for 2014 to 2015 has significantly reduced. We had too little economic base for today to compare growth.
Дякую за
Thank you for
відповідь.
your answer.
What do you see as difficulties of French companies in Ukraine, and what is the opportunity to improve business climate for them?
You might be expecting that I will answer that the main difficulty is either corruption, either business climate. And actually, yes, these are, of course, major concerns, and they have always been for international investors in Ukraine. We think that improving, of course, the business climate is extremely important, not only for international investors, but for all the companies, including, of course, the Ukrainian companies operating in Ukraine. This is a fight for the economy and for the development of Ukraine. But I think among the main concerns, there is the issue of workforce, labor availability, because there is a lot of immigration from Ukraine. And this is, of course, a major concern. As you mentioned, France is the first international employer in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Another concern is infrastructure, access to railway, and sometimes French industrial companies have difficulties to find wagons, locomotives, to bring their materials, their products to the ports and to export. And if I may, on the business climate, still, of course, it is a concern. We tend to consider that the dialogue, the Ukrainian administration at central level in Kyiv is very good. And there are agencies that have been created to help the work of international investors, such as Ukraine Invest Agency, which work very efficiently. When French companies have a problem, they have someone to talk to. We tend to observe, though, some differences between this very positive, constructive approach of the central administrations, the ministries, and sometimes the implementation in the regions, at regional level. And there, I think for the future of Ukraine, it's very important to ensure that the same policies, the same quality of business climate is ensured not only here viewed from the ministries and from Kyiv, but everywhere in the regions. It is very important.
I have to agree. There's really no system on the one hand. On the other hand, as I understand it, this is an issue with investment by the court. In fact, the issue of protection of opportunities, more precisely the protection of our investments, our assets, was relevant almost 20 years ago. And as for me, the issue of protection is still the most important one that needs to be solved today. The issue of personnel and infrastructure is already something that we can solve. that is not at a business level, but at state level and at the level of joint interstate programs. Moreover, as far as I know, there is a very remarkable European Commission program for infrastructure development. But it still covers only Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria. Therefore, it would be great for Ukraine to join it. This is a program of tandem development of both railway transport and waterways. This idea is beginning to generate interest in Ukraine today, but still limited to the availability of internal financing. It would be very good to get support for Ukraine under this EU program.
Marie, what do you think about issues? Yeah?
I would like just to add a few points concerning the business climate and to support the idea of the fact that human resources is a huge problem for a company and since 2.5 years now. We have regular meetings and committees at the French Chamber of Commerce, and all companies, nevertheless the size of the company or the location of the company, are facing human resources problem and have difficulty to recruit new talents and to keep talents. And in some parts of Ukraine, especially in the western part, and for companies, we have factories, shops, or agencies with blue collars or first level of employees, it's critical. They have a turnover close to 100% sometimes, so they need to increase the wage, and they do, of course, because it's European companies and they want to propose to their employees better conditions of work. But it's not only once per year, but it could be twice, 3 times, 4 times per year with double digit. So it's a huge problem, and they have to anticipate a lot. And even with this anticipation, they have to adapt their budget every semester.
Maybe it does mean that we should, when we plan, companies plan salaries, we should not plan an average salary in Ukraine, but we should now watch average between Ukraine and EU or Eastern European EU countries.
I'm not sure they are just looking at the wage salary because they monitor the increase of the wage salary very regularly, not once a year as it was done before, but every trimester, every quarter now, because they have to adapt to the market, they have to follow the inflation, and to keep the best talents.
Igor, maybe you want to add something else to our discussion about trade and economic relations with France? In terms of trade and economic relations, here again, we have to focus on a very important issue for Ukraine. Because of the signing of the association agreement, the free trade agreement, we have gained the opportunity for wider access to European and particularly French markets. Nevertheless, even at the moment of signing, we said in Ukraine that these agreements are discriminatory towards Ukraine. They give our European partners the opportunity to get full access to Ukrainian markets, while meanwhile the capabilities of our companies are significantly limited. Many tenders that are held, including in France, are protected. And Ukrainian companies essentially cannot join them because of their Ukrainian origin. In this context, there is the possibility of changing this policy as a trade policy regarding changes in quotas for Ukraine and procurement policy which exists in the European Union, in particular in France. Removing restrictions on the access of Ukrainian enterprises to those tenders that exist in France would be very beneficial to our trade-business relations.
Yeah, but I heard that in some categories, I think Igor told it in one of the previous programs, that quotas in some categories are taken during 1 month, like till the end of January, as quotas already finished for the product in EU.
That's right. On most of the product categories, there are no limits. On some product categories, there are still some quotas, and it is true that for some agricultural products, for instance, the quotas are being reached very fast. It doesn't mean that once they are reached, it's not possible anymore to export to the EU. It's possible, but then the taxes apply. And there are always adaptations and ongoing negotiations between the EU Commission and Ukraine to revise the quotas, to adapt them. I think it's something that cannot happen in one day, because within the EU 28 member states, with their economic interests, and there needs to be a balance, but globally, I think the trade agreement is one of the most ambitious that has ever been signed between the EU and a third and a partner country.
Ігор,
But
ти
I
зрозумів?
Igor,
Хочеш
would you like to add something? I understand the position of our fellow partners. Most importantly, this is really homework for Ukraine to address these issues not only at the level of communication and dialogue, but to actually look at and deal with them at an official level. And I hope that our next government will certainly do that.
Thank you, Igor, for joining our program. We know that in France you focus very strongly on gender equality issue. And there is even some commission which check number of female in top management of companies. Why do you do that, and what is the reason for doing that?
France is very committed in gender equality with substantial change of the law. In 2014, we have this law on equality between women and men. Wow. So enterprises, large companies with more than 50 employees should follow the rules, follow the legislations, and if not, they could have financial penalties. Second example, you're right, 40% of boards of directors in measured company should be women. This level should be reached by 2020 for large companies. If this level is not reached, financial penalties will occur. And more recently, French President Emmanuel Macron has made gender equality fundamental and national cause for his term. What does it mean? It means a lot of measures have been launched since then. I would just give you two examples. The first one is the establishment of a state secretary for women's rights. And the second one is the annual barometer of feminizations in enterprises. So they monitor the feminizations of board of directors, of highest positions in the largest French companies. That means that they publish every year a list of the best companies for gender equality.
It's also happened in the government, or not?
Yes. The constitution of the government is now based on the principle of gender equality, and it is reflected in the current constitution of our government. And I see that you, Tatiana, you were able as well to comply with the gender equality and parity principle on this stage today with Marie and I.
How is the situation with gender equality in French companies in Ukraine and the French Chamber of Commerce?
Well, among our 125 members, we have only 25 women who are general directors or founders of their own businesses. So 20%, it seems weak, but this percent is in constant growing since the beginning of the Chamber of Commerce. Step by step is growing. And we have women general directors or founders of the company in all sectors of activity, from small and medium enterprises to the largest worldwide companies. I would just give you two examples. The largest employer in Ukraine, Auchan Supermarket. General director is a woman, Ukrainian, Victoria Lusenko. Second example, Danone, with a worldwide dairy company with two big factories in Ukraine. The general director is a woman, a French one this time, Nathalie Alquier. We have not so many general directors, but it's growing, and it's also at the head of the biggest companies in Ukraine. And the second thing is the French companies in Ukraine are supporting the gender equality by promoting more and more women inside the company in the highest positions. For example, in Crédit Agricole Bank, the two deputy chairmen, but I should say two deputy chairwomen because it's two women and they have the positions in the core business of the company. So we have a large diversity of profiles of women with highest positions, and these women reflect the diversity of talents and reflects how our companies recognize their competencies in Ukraine.
And I heard that you launched a special competition for supporting businesswomen in Ukraine.
Yes, you're right. It's a very new project. We launched this context for the first time this year. So the main idea is to promote entrepreneurship in Ukraine and to transmit the passion for entrepreneurship and the passion for leading projects, leading teams to female entrepreneurs, and to inspire the young generation of entrepreneurs in Ukraine, to show them that there's a lot of women before them who have launched their business and with success. So with the Businesswomen Committee of the Chamber, we launched last March, we decided to create a contest for a woman who has founded her own enterprises. So concretely, the contest is for all women, whatever the sector of activity, no age limits. We will select the winner with a professional jury, and we will award her in March next year. Her Excellency Mrs. Isabelle Dumont, French ambassador in Ukraine, accepted to join the jury and to be honorary president of the jury. Will participate in the jury to Irina Suslova, Member of Parliament in charge of the Subcommission for Gender Equality, general directors of top companies such as Mazars, Auchan, Crédit Agricole, Danone, and also we have the support of Sonia Zabuka, chief editor of Elle and Elle Decorations, who will join the jury too. So as you can see, we have a large jury, a professional one, and with a large diversity of profiles.
As far as I understand, it's an adaptation of the program which already was launched by other French chambers in other countries.
Yes, they're not in all French chambers of commerce. There's around 122 chambers of commerce worldwide, but some of them have launched this program with an award, with a contest, and they award once a year a woman, not only entrepreneur, female entrepreneur, it could be just a general director, but just to promote female talents in all spheres of activity.
By the way, what will be the prize for this competition?
Well, we have, with our companies, French companies, partner of the event, we will monitor the project, monitor the business and follow up the business plan during a couple of years in different spheres, financial, audits, communication, marketing. And of course, we'll add a one-week trip to Paris, including meeting with headquarters of French companies.
There is, what is the implication of martial law to French companies here and trade, French-Ukrainian trade?
As far as I know, for the moment, there are no direct impact in the French businesses. We have a small discussion, informal one, this morning at the chamber, and there was not all the companies, but few of them say that no direct impacts. The concern of the employees, they heard concern of the employees, but they have no direct impact. Just maybe the first day because there's a more cash withdrawal, but it's just one day and now we are back to normal.
I can confirm what Marie said. We don't see any precise measurable impact on the activity of our companies in Ukraine, including in the regions that are concerned with the martial law. What we get the most is questions. What could happen? And most of the questions, they come from French companies that are not yet active in Ukraine, that are intending to develop projects. It's normal. It's absolutely normal that these questions are being asked, and we answer very calmly to these questions. We say what is the reality as measured thanks to the chamber on the ground. Yes, of course, there is a geopolitical context in Ukraine, and France is a supporter of reforms and of the integrity of Ukraine. And I think the companies, they tend to understand quite precisely and well the situation. And there is no panic at all. It was a decision of Ukrainian authorities. And this decision, I'm not talking about all spheres, I'm talking about business, has no measurable impact on business.
I know that some chambers even publish in their sites and social networks like business as usual.
Yeah, business as usual. And companies say that they receive more questions from the headquarters in France. And here in Ukraine, there's no specific answer. Of course, they monitor the situation, but for the moment, as far as I know, as far as they explained to me, there's no direct impact.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Marie, for joining our program. Thanks to all who watched us. See you next week.